Join us now for an insight with Carl Summer.
In writing Dare to Dream, I wanted to write a book that inspires children to live successful lives in spite of difficult circumstances. Just like the analogy used in the book, there are many acorns, kids with potential, but only a few grow to become giant oak trees that provide shelter and refuge for others. The story begins with Roy, an inquisitive child who wonders why his dad was a successful doctor. His dad's best friend, Jesse, was an award-winning architectural engineer, but his dad's brother, Alvin, ended up in jail. Dad, whose name is Nelson, explains in the flashback his story of his life. Nelson and his brother, Alvin, grew up in a drug and gang-infested neighborhood. Their father had died when they were young, but fortunately, they had a grandpa and grandma who loved them and took on the task of teaching these boys how to live successful lives despite a terrible environment and intense peer pressure to do otherwise. Peer pressure has a dramatic effect on children. Children want a sense of belonging. They want friends. Unfortunately, there are good and bad friends. It takes strong character to resist negative peer pressure. And this can especially be true for kids who are studious and get high grades. In certain cultures, they are harassed and made to feel that they are traitors to their community for following the rules, being smart and trying to excel. Don't carry books. Don't study. Become like us. We're the cool ones. Yes, those are the ones who are cool that don't study and carry books. But one day, those cool ones will discover they can't find a decent employment because they have no skills. It's important for you as parents to know your children's friends. The key to raising successful children is for parents to be active in the lives of their children. As a parent, I was always concerned with whom my children associated with. Fortunately, we were very active in church, and my children found friends there who shared our values. Nelson told his grandpa the problem he, Jesse, and Alvin had with gangs in the neighborhood. Grandpa challenged them that they can either be like a lifeless acorn or become giant oak trees. This is the critical moment for Alvin, and Alvin doesn't want to listen. He isn't the least bit interested in learning. And so we see how that attitude of unwillingness to learn leads to Alvin's downfall and eventually imprisonment. Alvin insisted on doing his own thing. Parents, I urge you to lay a strong foundation within your children. That's what I'm trying to do with this book. Begin by setting attainable goals for your children. Reward their accomplishments. I always despise the words from my children, I can't. I always wanted my children to say, I'll try. I'd watch them struggle because of my insistence on trying. I wasn't being mean. I was trying to teach my children that one day they'll need to learn how to stand on their own 2 feet. Just like Grandpa in our story and how he plays football with the boys. He threw the ball short and then he threw it over their heads. Why? He wanted the boys to learn to strive to do their best. How rewarding to see the joy, especially after a struggle of succeeding, and then that big smile on your child's face that comes from knowing, I can do it. It seemed so hopeless where Nelson and Jesse lived. Grandpa and Grandma took the boys on a trip to teach them. They drove past a group of addicts hanging out in the streets. This provided them with a valuable lesson. Parents, teach your children the dangers of smoking, drinking, and taking drugs. Don't wait until they get hooked. Take a strong stand against these destructive habits. Next, they visited Sam in the hospital. Sam was another powerful object lesson for the boys. As Sam shares, when I was a kid, I joined a gang for protection. All I wanted to do was have lots of fun and fight. I didn't care what happened to us. If it was fun, I did it, whether it was drugs, alcohol, or women. Lots of people warned me, but I listened to my friends. Now I have this incurable disease because of my careless living. In the children's video, I didn't go into the dangers of premarital sex. But you as parents need to teach your children early. If you don't, your children will learn from their friends and from the street. Teach them the truth and the standards that you believe in. Sexual transmitted diseases are rampant today in our society. And the safest approach is to teach your children early that abstinence until marriage is the safest approach. Don't listen to those voices that say everyone does it, so it's best to teach them how to save sex. No, they don't. Teach them to take a strong stand for sexual purity. Then Grandpa told Nelson and Jessie about 4 incredible individuals who overcame severe obstacles to become successful: Benjamin Franklin, George Washington Carver, Helen Keller, and Abraham Lincoln. Their lives teach important lessons. It takes men and women of strong character to resist the easy road of defeat. If you're interested, full-length book versions of the biographies of each of these individuals are available on our website. I encourage you to read and discuss these junior biographies to your children and discuss these informative and inspirational stories. These successful individuals overcame severe obstacles. Teach them to your children. Encourage them to set goals and stay focused on reaching them. By all means, go over the Dare to Dream guidelines. Print them out from our website. In closing, Nelson listened and became a doctor. Jessie listened and became an architectural engineer. But stubborn Alvin, he didn't listen and ended up in jail groaning, "Oh, how I wish I had listened to Grandpa and Grandma." But that's each person's choice. I hope that this story, Dare to Dream, will inspire you to teach your children how they can become successful.